lost your pops, yeah, I cried too. You never know who's right behind you. I got a little son now, and he do whatever I do. But it's something deep inside you that tell you it's gotta be more than doing what other guys do. They had nobody there to guide you, but I followed your footsteps, and this shouldn't surprise you. You realize you, yeah, I just wanna be like you. I just wanna be like you. Walk like, talk like, even think like you. The only one I could look to. You're teaching me to be just like you. Well, I just gotta be like, I just gotta be like you. Now all I see is money, cars, jewels, stars, womanizers, tough guys, guns, knives, and scars, drug pushers, thug strippers, fast girls, fast life, everything I wanted and everything I could ask life. If this ain't living, then they lied well. Guess I married an old wives' tale. Wow, fail. I don't know another way to go. This is the only way they ever show. I got this emptiness inside that got me fighting for approval, cause I missed out on my daddy saying way to go. Ain't get that verbal affirmation. I know how to treat a woman, know how to fix an engine to keep the car running. So now I'm looking at the media and I'm following what they feed me. Rap stars, trap stars, whoever wants to lead me. Even though they lie, they still tell me that they love me. They say I'm good at bad things, at least they proud of me. I just wanna be like you. Walk like, talk like, even think like you. The only one I could look to. You're teaching me to be just like you. Well, I just gotta be like, I just gotta be like you. I was created by God, but I ain't wanna be like him, I wanna be him. The Jack Sparrow of my Caribbean. I remember the first created being and how he shifted the blame on his dame for fruit he shouldn't have eaten. And now look at us all out of Eden, wearing designer fig leaves by Louis Vuitton, make believe it. But God sees through my foolish pride and how I'm weak like Adam, another victim of Lucifer's lies. But then in steps Jesus. All men were created to lead, but we needed somebody to lead us, more than a teacher, but somebody to buy us back from the darkness. You can say he redeemed us, taught us that real leaders follow God.
Hello everyone and welcome to another exciting edition of the program Then and Now. You're still listening to Pensioners FM 106.7 Agbarigo Onirike Ibadan. And if you're listening to the station, don't go anywhere, just keep listening because we are about to, tantalize your ears, if I'm allowed to say that. So this is the program once again, Then and Now. And I am your lovely host for today, Anine Juliet. And if this is your first time listening to Then and Now, we talk about trends. We compare past, present, and the future because we want to learn from the past and we want to update our present so that we can prepare better for the future. So why not stay tuned? So before we dive into what we're going to talk about today, we are going to do our quote for the day. And if you're a regular listener, you have to know that we always do our quote for the day. So our quote for the day is by Marianne Williamson. And she said, whatever worked in the past, build on it. Whatever didn't work in the past, break the chain that binds you. So, that is such a powerful quote. And also, that is what we are trying to do in this program, that whatever worked in the past, well, you should build on it. And whatever, didn't work in the past, you should break that chain. Stop keep doing the same old thing that didn't work. So either you learn from the past or, you move on if it isn't good for you. Then our topic for the day is skill acquisition. then and now. Skill acquisition, then and now. And if you want to watch us live, you want to see me right here on Pensioners FM 106.7, you can catch us on our Facebook page, and that is Pensioners 106.7. And you can also listen to us live via this link, www.pensioners106.7fm.com. And you can listen to us live, watch us live on Facebook, whatever you choose. And you can also stay tuned to this wonderful dial and keep listening. Was he talking about skill acquisition then and now? So, you should know that over the last decade, that's last 10 years, the rage of skill acquisition has, gone out beyond what we usually know back then. So that is why we are looking at it. So what can we do to improve our skill acquisitions now, or what are we not doing, and how was it back then? We want to know. It's always good to know your history. You have to know how it's been done back in the days, and how we're doing it now, and how we can improve on it. And why is it so important? Why skill acquisition? Why? So keep asking yourself that, and you can also tell us why and contribute to this program on our phone lines when we open it towards the second half of this program, of course. And just keep listening and keep jotting out the points that you want to say. You can ask us questions, whatever you want to contribute. Of course, I would love to learn from you if you have the experience, skill acquisition then and now. I'm not going to be talking alone. Definitely, you're not going to hear me alone. I have a lovely guest in the house. She's so beautiful. Oh my gosh, I am gushing. And my guest is no other than Mrs. Tomi Adineye Boluwajoko, popularly known as Tomeme. Oh God, and she is so lovely. You're welcome to this program today, ma'am.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, listeners.
Yes. Thank you so much for that. And if you can also see her smile, if you can see her smile. But if you're watching us live, definitely you can see her smiling, how beautiful she looks. Well, then we are going to jump. I'm going to ask my wonderful guest, because she is a skill acquisition expert. She is a wonderful philanthropist. She goes around, teaching people skills even for free. And you can imagine, she volunteers for different organizations. I am so impressed, when I decided to get her on this program and she accepted, I was like, yes, thank you. And she's going to tell us all about everything we need to know about skill acquisition, because she has been doing it for quite a long time. And well, the first thing we are going to look at is, skill acquisition. It is it's not a new trend. It has been on for a very long time. So how was it back then? Back then in the days when our fathers, we still have huts and thatch roof and everything. How do people learn skills? And it's okay, I'm learning skills. I'm good in this trade. How do people do it?
Thank you. Good morning, listeners. We're here to talk about skill acquisition. What is a skill? A skill is something that can be inborn, that can be learned over time, and by the time you're perfect, then you can reproduce what you have learned, and better still, improve on what you have learned. So when we talk about skills, what do we mean by skills? Skills are things you do with your hands, with your brain, with exposure. All this put together determines how well you can reproduce or how well you can bring out beauty. And skill is all about making your life better than the level you're in. What do I mean by making your life better? You see, everybody believes you have to go to school. Everything is all about school. I tell you, it's not really about school. Do you know even cooking in the house is a skill? Do you know tidying up the room in the house is a skill?
Please tell them.
Honestly, you see, everything goes beyond the reading. You can't just read, you need the practical aspect of it. And that's why we talk about skills. And every day I go around telling people, you learn how to do something. And you remember the adage that says, practice makes perfect. So gradually, if you're doing the same thing, you keep looking for ways to make it better, ways to make things more comfortable, ways to make it look, okay, it's been difficult. Let me try and make it easier for myself, easier on me, easier on whoever it is. And that's just all about skills. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Ma. So thank you for even clarifying what skills are or what skill is to have a skill. And also thank you for telling people that clean the house is a skill. Because my brothers, clean the house is a skill. When you think that women will just we just clean the house and it's not easy. It is skill. People pay to do that. People pay to get people to clean their houses and people pay to get people to cook for them. So that is a skill. Thank you so much for that valid point. And this program, we talk about past things. So we've established what skill is. And I asked my wonderful guest, how was it back then? How was our forefathers doing it? How do we learn skills from, our from society? And you say, okay, this person is skilled in this skill, this person is skilled in this. How do we learn it? Unlike now, or though we can see the present, we're going to talk about that, but how was it in the past?
Thank you. In the past, acquiring of skills was really, really difficult, strenuous, and this made people to really back off that idea because we call it being an apprentice. You stay with someone, you try to learn what the person is doing. In those days, there's no freedom of expression. You have to do it the way your tutor or your teacher is doing it. You have to follow the same thing verbatim. So there's really, really nothing so interesting. But at the same time, most times you don't have a choice. And the other crazy part of it is when you have to stay, like you want to learn tailoring and you have to be there for like 5 years. Meanwhile, these are things that if your mind is there and you're really interested in what you're doing, you can do it under 3 months, under 6 months, and then you still stay with your boss to improve on yourself. But you see, in those days, the way the skill is being acquired is really, really tedious. At times you have bosses who don't really teach you anything, but make you go to their house and to work for them, you know, and then you just wonder, what is this? And the funniest part of it is, you see this students, these apprentices, never go back home to give a feedback to the parents because then there wasn't this freedom of expression. Or like now you can ask your child, what happened today? What happened today? In those days, there's even nobody to even see you. Doctors of look at you.
You don't believe that, okay?
Down to the extent of believing that, oh, this happened, that happened. And then you see it as, oh, because I'm learning, I have to do this, I have to do that. No, that's not the way it's supposed to be. And so that's why you see some people, they're gone for this acquisition of skill, but they never really learned anything. They just went there because they are being forced to, they're being pushed to. Acquiring a skill shouldn't be a forceful thing. It should be something that comes from within you, that you have feelings for, that you love doing, that you have the passion for. And before you know what's going on, you find it easy to get the skill done at any day, at any time. Come rain, come sunshine, you're good to go. So in those days, it wasn't really palatable, I must tell you, especially when it has to do with the tedious aspect, like shoemaking, like electrical training, they call it electrician, all those things were really tedious. And then you have to stay and do so much work. And then the other part of it is, in a bid for the teacher or the tutor to really, really impart knowledge into you, as they call it, they make you do things out of the ordinary. Work that they're supposed to do, they leave it to you to do.
That's like slavery in a way.
Something like that. And then at the end of the day, what happens? By the time you've destroyed almost half of what needed to be done, you can't start working on what you don't know. You need the knowledge to be able to now bring out the knowledge in the work that you want to do. So at the end of the day, you just find out a lot of people work like slaves that have masters. And so there's no joy. And then you see someone after doing the freedom just zaps and is like, I'm no longer interested in that. I don't really want to do that. I don't feel like doing that. And then, the way the boss used to do, You see, in those days, they don't give you that freedom to really build something out. Everything is done this stereotype way. This is the way we do it. This is the way it's always been. This way to always be.
And it must be done that
And
way.
it must be done that way. If you don't get it that way, you're not doing it. That's the way it was in those days. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma. And I love the fact that you mentioned apprenticeship, because that was like the only way, usually the only way that you can gain skills in the past. But and it's always tedious. Some people stay with you for 10 years, and then that's okay. I'm paying them more. So the way they used to call it that when they are leaving and they will give them some money and everything, and start slaving with you, stay in your house, doing all chores that is not even what you came there to learn. So thank God that we're learning from the past anyway. So now apprenticeship is still in vogue. Is it still in practice now?
Yes. Very, very much.
People still do it.
People still do it.
Okay. I think it must have evolved than how it was before. But people still do it. That's quite a shocker. So who should go into apprenticeship? Because when people hear of the word apprentice, even now, I think that people that you didn't go to school, or people that are not academically strong, they have to go into apprenticeship. They don't have anything to do, don't know nothing else. You just have to go. If you don't go to school, then you should probably go and learn a trade and become an apprentice with someone. Is it right? So who should go into apprenticeship? Is it anyone, or just people that academically they are poor?
That's a very good question. You see, the notion apprenticeship then is different from what we have now. Then you were first compelled to do it. But now it comes willingly, gladly from your heart. For example, I have my son who's been learning how to sew since he was age 8.
Wow.
He just started disturbing me. Mommy, I want to learn how to sew. Mommy, I need to learn how to sew. And so by the time he was 9, I had no choice than to register him somewhere along the area with a very good man. He's 13 now. He can sew. He can sew a shirt for a man and pair of trousers for a man. And, he has not really gotten the freedom. He goes during holidays. And before you know what's going on, I'm very sure by the time he finishes his secondary school, he will be very, very good. Now, the issue of apprenticeship, there is no age limit, really. If your child picks interest in something, the earlier you get that child involved in it, the better. Gone are the days when you force kids, you must go to school and do. Yeah, they go to school to get the knowledge. But at the same time, building the gifts and the talent of a child is very, very important. And you know what? Some people have made it in life. They become so famous just by singing. Some by playing football. Some by doing one skill or the other.
Those are their talents.
Yeah, so you don't have a particular age for apprenticeship. You can register your child maybe from JS1, and the child goes only during holidays to learn something, acquire a skill. And by the time the child is graduating by SS3, I tell you, you'll be shocked at what the child can do.
What about people that are not brilliant, like academically they are poor, including people that are dyslexic, that cannot, read very well, or they're not performing well, when it comes to your academics? And are those people, are they the only ones that can be forced, like, okay, there's nothing for you in this life now. Go and become an apprentice and learn something.
Wow. That's another big mistake people make. You see, everybody has a gift and a talent. It just needs to be discovered.
Doesn't matter whether you.
It doesn't matter whether you're good academically or not. It doesn't matter whether you're rich or poor. It doesn't matter whether you're from a well-to-do home or from the less privileged. No. Even if you're in the orphanage, I'll tell you, I do a lot of work for them in the orphanage. Most of them don't have parents, and they are good. So it's all about discovering the inner gift, the inner passion of the child. It's not about, because you're a dullard, so you need to go and learn. No. You'll be shocked that dullard can come up with something big, even in acquiring computer skills. And that's just the way it is. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma.
You're
that was
welcome.
so enlightening. We are going to go on a very short musical break. And when we come back, we are going to be opening the phone lines, of course, so that you can call in and also ask our guests questions and make your contributions on the topic skill acquisition then and now. And please don't touch your dial if you want. We are going to talk about different things and you're going to talk about modern ways of acquiring skills. So all this we're going to talk about when we come back. So don't go anywhere. Don't touch the dial. Stay tuned to Pensioners FM 106.7. And I'm leaving you with this song by DJ Jimmy Chat Style.
Yeah, brand new Joe Kenny production. It's official. Go on.
And the music where we play, we do it in our own style.
Ladies and gentlemen, all night, super yeah. City of hustlers, everybody's in a hurry, traders and customers. Pockets get picked on a regular. If you're not street, you gon' pop with your cellular. You're driving, I suggest you check your rear view. Be careful, cause some of that just might be near you. Knock one of them down and the rest gon' tear you to pieces. Hey yo, jungle in the damn fool. Drivers always try to fumble. Rush hour bus stops are like the Royal Rumble. And the P.O. from things, all we do is rumble. Everybody, red eye, ain't nobody humble. Trip and tumble into the eternal abyss. Half the people hold it, cause the other keep malice. Play chalice. Too much talk, if you don't get, no go.
These flavors where we there, so these streets where you will see, so all the people where we see, we love them. And the music that we play, we do it in our own style. Do it in our own style. We do it in our own style.
I want this
Style. I remember well the beginning of the struggle when we used to hang around the block doing acapellas and just staying out of trouble. It seems like yesterday when we started the game, hoping for some fame and some fortune. Now what's the game you call pain? That explains all the hustle and the bustle. Like when we had the most game stop because we don't get money. Taking to the treasure, it was not very funny. When we started, I mean the dust to be mental. Back then, and Jimmy Jack, and they give us instrumental. And up till now, we still stay strong. The hold on, the struggle still goes on. Up till now, we still there, we ain't going nowhere. I say, this never can be there, so these streets where you can see, so all the people where we see, we love them. And the music that we play, we do it in our own style. We do it in our own style.
About now, I'm in Whoever thought like that could had the cake like this. Get the game to elevate, not this. Wonder how Mother Africa fell when foreigners enslaved black kids. Some killed, some taken away, yo, caseless shit. Wonder how it feels now when she sees how we come direct. Plus, on we retain the script like Spike to the right there. In any profession, it was the things they had for their gods. They enterprises. So they talk up, push the game down to it like lightning or Chris Rock or doubly sharp. Now we're taking real hip hop up the streets to the mainstream without watering down. Still get the same thing with the whackness. Of course, you know we're terminating, fella mindset. Of course, you know we ever blazing in the mix like Timmy. You know my power moves ain't static. We challenge you every time. Nothing but classic style.
This never can be there, so this streets where you can see, so all the people where we see, we love them. And the music that we play, we do it in our own style. We do it in our own style. We do it in our own style. We do it in our own style.
Yeah, now you know. Definition of unification. Cool DJ love in the building. Now you know. Yeah. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen.
Ọ̀dẹ̀ alápá máa ṣiṣẹ́, olówó fẹ́ flex yo. No food for lazy man, pàdé double your work o. Anything wey you want to, you go get am if you work o. Àwọn àgbà aláwo ṣiṣẹ́ o, stop living fake life. Òróró no be true joy, pussycat no be tiger o. Monkey àtọ̀ sí chimpanzee. Work yo, butter no be for monkey o. Ìwọ náà fẹ́ ṣe big boss, wàgà ń ṣe fọ́lẹ̀ o. Wákì o, ọ̀rẹ́ mi tẹpá mọ́ṣẹ́ o. Wákì o, ọjà kò tún bíjọ́ ọ̀bọ̀dé o. Wákì o, ọ̀rẹ́ mi múra sí iṣẹ́ o. Wákì o, ọjà kò tún bíjọ́ ọ̀bọ̀dé o. Wákì o, say you want expensive shit, kò fẹ́ máa bára wé wíìsì. You way you never amount. Okay, my bow on Prada. You go rock and run down. Padi me double your slow. Respect yourself, oh. Stop living fake life. Ororo no be good toy. Pussycat no be tiger. Monkey at the chimpanzee. Wacky oh. Butter no be for monkey oh. You wanna have a big boss. Waga unje bole oh. Wákì o, ọ̀rẹ́ mi tẹpá mọ́ṣẹ́ o. Wákì o, wájà kò tún bíjọ́ ọ̀bọ̀dé o. Wákì o, ọ̀rẹ́ mi múra sí iṣẹ́ o. Wákì o, wájà kò tún bíjọ́ ọ̀bọ̀dé o. Wákì o, àyílẹ̀ kò sí pọ́pọ̀, drinking water, kúkú bá lọ́kọ̀. Ìwọ ló máa wọ tàbí o.
You're still listening to Pensioners FM 106.7. And if you're just joining us, the program is Then and Now. The time is 30 minutes to the hour of 12. And you are still listening to Pensioners FM 106.7. And I am still your lovely host on the program Then and Now, Juliet Anine. And we have been talking about skill acquisition then and now. How was it back then? How is it now? And how can we take it to another level in the future? So what are we taking from the past and what are we merging with the present, to develop our future better? Also, I promise to open the phone lines now, and so you can call in and give your own contribution on the topic for today, skill acquisition then and now. So I'm going to call 3 phone lines. 2 you can call in there, and 1 you can send a text message, and I'll read it out to if you can call in, and maybe probably you're too busy or you couldn't reach us by the phone. So the first line I'll call is 0908 1111. That's 1 in 4 places, and 067. I'm going to call that one more time. 0908 1111. That's 1 in 4 places, 067. And the second phone line I'm going to call is 0808 067. Let me call that again and very slowly. 0808 0101067. And also the number to text your questions or contribution is 0802 416 0112. I'll call the last number again, and that is 0802 416 0112. And that is number 2. Send your text messages on. So we are going to go right ahead to the program. I still have my wonderful, beautiful guest on my program, Mrs. Tomi Adeneye Boluwajoko and popularly known as Tomeme. And we are still talking about skill acquisition. And she has helped us to break down how it was in the past in form of apprenticeship, and how apprenticeship was not, suitable for most people because it was tedious, it was difficult, it was hard, and you people abuse it and make sure the apprentice do mundane things and that are not even related to the skill they are trying to acquire. So I'm going to go right ahead and see. We're going to jump into the questions, and this issue of technical schools. I remember one of our conversation, you also mentioned it, and you said, technical schools, what has happened to them? And even this, our polytechnic, they're supposed to be a medium to acquire skills, but now there's no difference between polytechnic and university anymore. So those are the things that, baffle some people, like, okay, polytechnic now run as university.
That's right.
People just go there and read and answer questions and come out with degrees and certificate, and that's all. And same thing with the technical schools. In fact, I don't know of any technical school that is in existence right now. And if you know, audience, you can call in to tell us. And I'm going to ask my guests, if you know also, you can enlighten us. We are not afraid to learn here. So I'm going to leave that to you to talk about.
Thank you. Then the government had a very, very good way of introducing this skill acquisition right from secondary school. And that was how they had the system, the 6-3-3-4 system, whereby a child is expected to go to school. 6 stands for 6 years in the primary school. 3 stands for the first 3 years in the secondary school. The next 3 stands for the next 3 years in the secondary school. Senior secondary school. And then the 4 stands for the tertiary institution, either polytechnic or university. Now, the idea then was, by the time a student or a child passes through the first stage of secondary school, which is the first 3, which is from GS1 to GS3, by the end of GS3 exam, it's expected, what they had in mind was to check the ability of the child. Does this child look like someone that wants to further the education, or this child is inclined in the technical aspect? And the government really did well, because I remember then in my secondary school, St. Louis Grammar School, Ibadan, we had the big hall for these technical skills, and a lot of equipment were bought. Well, most of them were never used. And I'm sure it's the same thing in so many schools.
Why was it never used?
Yeah. One of the reasons was because, one, though the equipment were bought, installed in schools, we didn't have enough teachers to pull out into that section. So, like having something for carpentry, having something for shoemaking, and there's nobody to really teach all that.
There was no qualified teacher.
No qualified teacher. The teachers were not employed. There was no teacher. So it was more of a workload for the teachers then, leaving all the normal school subjects to now divert into the technical aspect. That is an area where a child, you call it catch them young. You would have really caught a lot of people at that age, at that stage, so that as the child is going through school, the child too is going through the technical school and is getting introduced in technical school. So that by the time the child now gets into the senior secondary school, the next 3 years, by the time the child is graduating with about 2 degrees, one in the academic aspect and the other one in the skills. So that this will stand as a basis for the child to now know, okay, do I go to the university to further my education, or to go to to go to a technical school like Yaba Tech, like Lao Tech, or the Polytechnic? That was supposed to be a guidance for each child. But unfortunately, the idea was there, but the manpower to get it done or get it accomplished was not really around. It wasn't really available. So at the end of the day, everyone is forcefully pushed. You must go to school, you must go to the university after your secondary school. And this in turn now didn't really help when a child now gets to the Polytechnic or the College of Education. In fact, at that time, nobody really wants to go to the Polytechnic or the technology schools like Yaba Tech and Lato, and everybody wanted to go to university because it's like, oh, if you don't go to university, you're not going to make it in life, you're not going to become somebody,
so those
you're not going
those
to
are
be.
The ones are belittled.
Sort of. That was the way.
So they feel university is like,
the highest, and
of-
if you're not in university. And so that's why you see someone going to university to go and study Yoruba, and the person now comes out and the person is working in a bank, for crying out loud. How do you correlate the two?
What about people that go to university and study something like maybe engineering or something, and they come back and they learn tailoring from one woman, Mama Tunde, or
Exactly.
that didn't go to school, and they start doing apprenticeship in that person's shop, and they end up being opening a small kiosk.
I'm
becoming
so
a tailor.
happy for such people, because it's good to discover your gift and talent on time.
After wasting 4 years or 5 years
It is
studying
not-
engineering. I see that's the
Well,
problem.
some see it as a waste, but to me, it's not a waste. For example, I think my dad really likes you to have the two sides of life. So even as you're going to school, anytime we're at home, either break from school or ASU strike, you must go and learn something. And so
it should be related to what, in a way, what you did, not totally different, not totally opposite.
We're in Nigeria, sweethearts. And so because we're in Nigeria, we know that it's not just what you go to school to learn that will make you survive. You need to have other skills whereby you now begin to develop that skill. And gradually, as you develop that skill, who knows, maybe that's the way out for you. But you see, it's not everybody that has that spiritual thing to check. Okay, is this my line? Is this my line?
Okay.
But as you're going on gradually during the day. For example, I started baking from my 200 level. It was fun for me. I was just doing it for doing sake, not really that. That was what I went to school. I went to school. I was supposed to read economics education. But you see, I had so much free time. And so I was like, what do I do with my free time? Yeah, I sing, but it's not just about singing. What else can I do? And I'll tell you, by the time I got to 300 level, I didn't go home to get money again, because I had so much money. Yeah.
Money for yourself.
I made a lot of money, and it really helped me during school. It really helped. And that's why, as I am now, you wake me up anytime, tell me to give you a cake. I give you 2 hours, I bring it out for you.
Yeah, owing me a cake right now. But yours is not so bad, because being studying economics, you can, go to line of being an entrepreneur. And that being said, you are actually baking at that time is not so different. But imagine someone that read zoology.
Okay, can
For
I
example,
surprise you?
Tell me.
My younger sister read medicine, and she was a fashion designer before she left school.
So something like that. But my own opinion is that if we can discover our skills on time, so there's no need to wait. To me, I like university. At least I finished from university, and I loved what I studied, and I also have some little skills. I do beats. So
nice
but
one.
I do it for fun, and
Okay.
I need. But I do those things for fun, not to make a living. But I feel that if you discover what you want to become in life on time, there's no need to waste. Because most people, they don't even like the school. They waste they just want to go for name and prestige. Come back and say, okay, I finished, and I'll do stuff and say, I went to this school. This is my alma mater or something like that. And my own is that if you can discover your skill on time, some people don't have to. It's not everybody. Some people like to have you too. Some people don't have to waste their time in school, struggle, coming out from school, not getting a job, and still going to meet Mommy Junior by the side that owns a kiosk to learn how to sew. Why not just develop it then? By the time that 4 years, you would have become someone of renown in that field. So that's my opinion. And I'm also leaving to you out there, my wonderful audience, that if you share my opinion or you share a counter opinion to what I'm saying, you can call in on this program and also send me a text on 0802-416-0112. And tell me what you think about it, because I'm just sharing my own. And that's why I said my own opinion. So I feel like that. And that's why I'm with my children. You're not going to waste your time in school. Once you can sew, take you to fashion school and
but do you know another aspect of it is really, even if you have this knowledge in this skill and you acquire something, education still plays a vital role. That's why you see this guy, I wouldn't want to mention their names, these musicians, they've made a lot of money, they've made name, but they can't even speak simple, we call it simple English. And so they have to pay for teachers to give them private trainings.
Well, I believe, to me, I believe that our secondary education is supposed to cover that. If you finish from, if you really go to secondary school and you finish, your junior secondary to your senior secondary, you're supposed to come out. You're supposed to know how to speak English. Universities don't need to teach you how to speak English. University only enhance some subjects because secondary schools is like a field, like the floor. Then when you go to university, you want to build more. It's tertiary, it's called tertiary institution, not where not your foundation. That's not where you learn to. So I believe that those ones we didn't have interest. Now they see the need and they want to. So if you finish secondary school, you should be able to read and write and do so many things.
Well, I'm not fully in support of that, really, because you see, there is a kind of courage, charisma that education gives you.
Definitely.
And so if you don't have this poise in you, there are some levels you can't get to. There are some stages you can't get to. And there are some places you can't just go and do business.
I agree with you, but let's not go into that. We're going to talk about that another day with another wonderful topic. Let's go into our skill acquisition then and now. So now, what are the modern ways? What are the platforms now in this present age whereby people acquire skills? Why you don't have to go start doing apprenticeship again? So,
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm so happy with what's happening these days. We have a lot of networks, a lot of websites, a lot of groups coming together to help in acquiring skills. And so these days, you can just learn something online. You can learn online if you have the time. All you need is just load your phone with data, or get a laptop and learn. And at the end of the day, you're able to reproduce what you have learned and you get a certificate. For example, I have a lot of videos. I'm into paper flowers. I do beaded jewelry. I do beaded flip-flops. I do Ankara crafts. And I have videos for every one of them. And so when people come and like, oh, we want to learn this, distance is no longer a barrier in acquiring a skill. All you need to do is just pay for the video, get the video, practice what you see, and then give your teacher or your tutor a feedback. And before you know what's going on, you get something good out of it. So we have a lot of websites where you can learn.
Thank God for technology.
Yeah, really. The technology has made it so easy for people to learn if you are really willing and ready and eager to learn.
So what about some people host courses? I see a lot of courses everywhere. Learn these 6-month course, 3 months course. How effective are those courses? And how can you those certificates that those courses or those seminars give to you? Are they accredited? Like, are they government accredited, or they just go and print off? I can just type my certificate now. Thank you for coming to learn in a Juliet College of
Yeah.
And that's all. Are they well accredited?
Well, on that note, some are and some are not. So the first thing you want to do is find out whether, if you want to sign up with a company or a website or a skill acquisition academy, the first thing you want to find out is if the company is registered. That's the first thing you do. You do your underground work before signing up with that company. 1, is it registered? 2, do they have the facilities and the capacity to really graduate you at the end of whatever training you're going through?
How will you find out? Because sometimes when you check online for those things, you see false things. I'm not going to mention some people's names, but you see some 9s, offices, and you see people training. And when you come there, you just see maybe probably those plaza 2 stores that they arrange together.
Exactly.
And also people register. To register is not so hard anymore. People register their company names and everything. But does that make them certified, accredited? Because you just register that, okay, Juliet's School of Catering. Does that make me accredited to actually give certificate out?
Well, that would be a very good question for the government to answer. Because really, if you're talking about acquiring a skill and getting a certificate, there's a body that's supposed to monitor those people giving out the certificates. So I can't really say much in that line. But one thing I always tell people when they're like, oh, I want to learn this, I want to learn that. This person, For someone to come and like, okay, I'm gonna teach you about this or that, or I want you to acquire such a skill, one of the things to do is to do your underground work. Find out, you can find out a lot of things on social media, and you can also go to the extent, if you really value the education you want to really acquire, you can go to the extent of going to the office, the so-called office, the so-called factory, the so-called workshop. Fine, some don't have. Some don't have. So it's through your inquiries that you discover whether this person. And then also nowadays you see a lot of comments here and there under someone's page about a training, what the person acquired. You will hear stories and you will see if you really dive deep. And if you want to get something if you want to get a certificate of a skill acquired from a registered company or a registered person, you can always get that done if you do your homework very well. Because the thing about it is, by the time you ask 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people and you post, and it's even easier now. Just go on Google and like, is so a scam, is so real. And by the time you type out the words or the name, you'll find out some things. And that's just the way it is.
Somebody must have said something.
There is no how that someone, you not get a hint about whatever is happening. But you see, the main thing really is you yourself. What is the essence of the skill? Is it to improve your life or just for doing sake?
Yes, and I want to go into that. Like, thank God you've actually said something about that, because most people, when they want to acquire a skill, the first thing they ask, do you give certificates? And my mom was like, is that all you want to get from that particular skill, or you want to actually learn something? So is it just about certificate? Most people just go and they want to just collect something, just like certificate, like paper, because I see certificate as paper. It's what I actually learned in school that I feel I should be proud of, that I actually went to school, not because they give me, because trust me, if someone or my niece pour water on that my certificate today and soak it and help me to wash it, he's gone. And right. That's it. But my knowledge did not go, my experience did not go. So that's just because as a skill acquisition expert, you have been doing teaching skill acquisition you told me for the past 30 years or so. That's
been long. It's been long.
Time.
Right from my secondary school days. I even formed a club then. I called it Homemakers Club.
Wow.
And I'll just gather people and just teach them. I've always been teaching for free for a long time. So it's already part of me. It's just in me.
Wow.
Now, I tell people it's not just about the certificate. What are you learning? What knowledge are you acquiring? All in the name of acquiring a skill. What is the skill that you have acquired? Because if you go for a training and you can't reproduce what you have learned, then you've just wasted your time. It's not about the certificate. It's about what you have in your head there. And another thing about this acquisition of skills, can you reproduce what you have learned?
Yes.
The first thing, can you reproduce? And then the second thing, do you enjoy what you're doing? Because there's what we call job fulfillment and job satisfaction.
Not just because you want to
make money.
Be busy.
Exactly. Because some people have the money to acquire all the necessary gadgets to set up and all that, but they don't know anything. Meanwhile, there's some people that know so much, but they can't just set up a place. So it's by doing your homework very well, you'll be able to discover the difference between the two.
Okay, thank you. Time is not on our side anymore. I'm enjoying this talk and I've forgotten. In fact, I didn't even check. If you've been trying to call in, please call in because I didn't check it. I'm so sorry. And also, if you want to send a text message, because I think that's all we can take for now. Again, the phone number is 08024160112. So send a text message and just your contribution or your maybe your question for our guest for the day. So like I said when I was starting this program, for I think over the past 1 decade, not just a decade, the emphasis on skill acquisition is becoming so much. Like you see Ankara making to a different level. You see these and these people are springing up. Entrepreneurs are just coming up here, there, and and they are doing different things. Even some skills that people. In fact, there's something I saw last week, and I was amazed. I'll show you the picture when after it. It was a foot mat made from Ankara, And it's not just Ankara, like, the piece of Ankara that tailors throw away. And the person just, the way he tied them together in a knot, and the down part of it, the under part of it, of the foot mat, was made from this our sack that we used to, bag rice, sack bag for rice. And it was so ingenious. It was just wonderful. And I was just amazed. And it was so soft and lush. I keep snapping it and touching it, like, oh my God, this person just made something valuable from waste. Things that people throw away and pollute, the state. And
You're
this
right.
is what somebody just used and made. And
made something
it was
out
so
of it.
beautiful. I'm not kidding you. So why is so much emphasis on skill acquisition now, unlike back then?
Thank you. Well, it's come to a real discovery now that things are changing, the world is changing, and people are innovating in different ways and bringing up different things from different places. You see, back then, the tailor's waist is very, back then it wasn't useful. You see them, they just trade anywhere, burn it. But these days, do you know from the tailor's waist, I can make earrings, I can make belts, I can make bangles, I can make hair ruffles, I can make hairband. And that's just the beauty of this acquisition of skills.
So at the end of the day, recycle in a way.
Exactly. You see, recycling. I have a friend. She recycles bottles and tires, plastic bottles and tires, and you'll be shocked at so many things that she does. You see, if you don't find a way of bringing beauty out of what you think no longer exists or is no longer useful, you will just find out that you waste a lot of things. And that's just what's happening these days now. A lot of people are coming up with innovative ways of turning waste into wealth. So there's so much emphasis on turning waste into wealth, but it has to do with discovery. How will you discover what you want to do and how you want to do it? And that's just the way it is.
Wow.
Yes. So emphasis is more on what skill. So it's not really about, I want to do something, I need so much money to start. No. You can just start with nothing and make something out of the nothing. All it takes is your mindset, the zeal inside you, and then the passion, love for what you want to do. And voila, you get something good.
You see why I'm smiling? Because thank you. That is so amazing. Because I am awed when I see lots of skills. Last year, I have 3 of my friends that went to bag making. Forget their degree. They threw it aside. And also, they went to shoemaking. I see a computer engineer going into shoemaking, which is awesome. And I want to thank my guests because what time is up for my program. And thank you so much, Mrs. Tomi Adine. I'm so grateful that you came on this program. You just enlighten us, enlighten me. In fact, and also I'm going to stick to that, your promise on the
yeah. And one last thing, I'll be because of the Christmas party celebration coming up now on this station, I'll be around 3 times to teach freely on Ankara craft. So if you're interested, you can get in touch with the station. I'll offer that as my bonus for you.
Thank you so much. Wow, she just threw that in. I didn't even know. I didn't even know that she's going to do that. Well, thank you so much. Like I said, she's beautiful, she's talented, and she's a mother, and we love her. She has, if you see what she did, I think International World Girls Day or something.
Yeah, International Day of the Girl Child. Yes.
And she went to different orphanages, teaching them different skills. I was really impressed, and I was like, oh, so people still do this. There are people like this that actually cares, and it's not about the money for her. She does it for free, so she doesn't. It's not like she will ask you to come and pay one amount of money. That is how wonderful she is. So thank you so much. In fact, I'm going to give you a round of applause because I think you need it. So a round of applause for you. Where is my round of applause for you?
Thank you.
Applause for you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I think that is from all of us, all of us here on the program then and now. Thank you so much. We are grateful. And also, my wonderful listener, thank you for staying tuned to this program then and now. And we talked about skill acquisition then and now. Thank you so much. I want to thank my wonderful producer and who has, with so much effort and put so much passion in my program, and that is